being that I'm Italian, you're Italian, one of my favorite things is I like to eat.
There you go.
You know?
Nothing wrong
I like
with
to
that.
eat. So you have a restaurant in town,
Yeah.
and I can't believe that's your restaurant.
Yeah,
So tell everybody
yeah.
what your restaurant is.
Yeah.
And then I want to talk about that.
Well, you know, my wife is a tremendous cook. She's we've been together now. This is our 36th year.
Hold on. Pause.
I know.
Hollywood. Big time.
I know. I jokingly say it was Bob Hope and Dolores Hope. I think was them and then us.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
But anyway,
man.
we've been together a long time, and she's a great cook. She, she's Czechoslovakian, but being with me this long, there's a lot of Italian.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
Yeah,
you
she
absorb
melded.
it. And she was always came up with some wonderful Italian recipes. My mother influenced her a lot with some of her cooking, obviously. But she'd always, one of her dreams was to always open up a little restaurant that would have Chicago-themed food, because we're both from Chicago. Right. And for the Super Bowl, she'd always cook these. The signature sandwich in Chicago is the Italian beef sandwich, as the cheesesteak is the Philadelphia, is like the kind of hero is to New York. So she'd cook these for the Super Bowl. People would always say, man, you ought to open a restaurant, because we have to wait once a year to get this sandwich. So finally the time came where, it all worked out. Where I said to her, I says, honey, if we're going to open a restaurant, let's do it now, because it's not the easiest business in the world, as we all know. Let's do it now. And that was 6 years ago. And we opened this restaurant called Taste Chicago. Just the two words, Taste Chicago.
And where is it? It's in Burbank?
It's in Burbank, California. It's right at the corner of Verdugo and Hollywood Way in Burbank, 603 North Hollywood Way.
Cool.
And if you go to tastechicago.biz, it explains everything. But it's reminiscent of the kind of places that her and I grew up with in Chicago. In other words, we have the Italian beef, you have the deep dish pizza, we have the ribs, you've got the pasta, you've got the Chicago hot dogs, Polish sausage, stuffed shells. We even have the, you'll understand, we got the finocchio salad, we got the Anazetta salad.
Oh, I love it.
We got pepper and egg sandwiches even.
It's so funny because I was in the car with my buddy and I'm driving and I saw Taste Chicago and I was like, Kim, Chicago deep dish pizza. I can't believe it, because when I was a kid, my first job was I was a busboy in a Chicago pizza restaurant on Long Island in New York. And I love that pizza.
Yeah.
And the deep dish with the crust.
That's right.
It's like...
And in fact, it took us, when we opened a restaurant 6 years ago, we didn't have the deep dish pizza because we wanted to perfect it, because that's a difficult thing. It's not like a regular pizza. Right. So we only added the deep dish after about, I think it was almost 2 years having the restaurant open. We had a Sicilian pizza that was great. That was made by our manager of our restaurant is a girl I went to high school with. So she's been baking this pizza for over 40 years. But the deep dish, we wanted to perfect it. My wife really worked on it to get it right, to where we thought this is as good as any deep dish in Chicago. And so we introduced that about 4 years ago. And it's great. And like I said, the food is all homemade. It's all done right there. And it's a little, like I said, it's a little place.
I'm going to be over there at 3 o'clock.
There you go. I know. I'm going there right after I leave here.
No, you think I'm joking? I got a meeting, and I'm going to say, let's go to Taste of Chicago.
Yeah.
Here, I have a question. Yeah. And I always wondered this about pizza. My family always talks about this, okay? The New York pizza and the California pizza, totally like different pies.
I don't even know if there is a California pizza,
really. But does the Chicago, is that the same thing with the Chicago
You know what,
deep dish?
I think part of it is, the deep dish is a signature Chicago pizza, but that's not the only pizza in Chicago. And so, I mean, New York pizza is basically your Neapolitan pizza, the thin crust, and which I
got to interrupt you. Now, here's a true Italian, because if you notice something, which I don't think anybody picked up here, Joe didn't say the round pie, he said the Neapolitan pie, and then he didn't say the square pie, he said the Sicilian pie.
Yeah, there you go.
When I first came out here, I said, give me 2 Neapolitans, and people looked at me like I got 4 heads.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Or give me 2 Sicilians.
Exactly.
You mean the square, the round? That's so funny.
Yeah, we talk a whole different language.
Yeah, exactly.
But the New York pizza is known to be the thin, which I love as well. I mean, it all depends on what you're in the mood for and stuff like that. Deep dish, the biggest difference would be between the classic New York pizza and the Chicago deep dish, because then you're talking from this to this. Right, exactly. But it's a whole different ballgame. But equally as good.
But the crust is like...
Yeah, one is more like a pie, and one is almost like I don't know what you'd say. But the thing is, it's it's both great. Our Sicilian is somewhere in between. It's somewhere. It's kind of like it's not as thin as a classic New York pizza, but it's not deep dish either. Right. So, I mean, that's the thing about pizza. I mean, there's all different varieties, and we don't do pineapple though. We don't do any of that stuff in Chicago. We're a little hardcore.
Thank you.